is the fact that deep down, these MAGA Republicans are disgusting. They're revolting. They're horrifying humans. They're very, very gross, and they're okay with being revolting and horrifying and having revolting and horrifying people among them. Look at where America is at now. Every branch of government is controlled now by the far right, by Republicans, by Christian nationalists. Have you seen the tattoos of the upcoming Secretary of Defense who refuses to wash his hands and likes to throw axes at workers? That dude? Go look them up. They're quite horrifying. These are Christian nationalists who now control the country. Hey, Matt Gaetz. I don't know if he's going to be confirmed. Right now in the United States, there's a lot of shitty things. The House just fell last night, so that means all three branches of government are effectively controlled by a far-right government, the Republicans. And I'm not going to be calling them just the MAGA crew, because the Republicans of all stripes, they're all bad. All of them. I don't care if you're a neocon. I don't care if you're a libertarian. I don't care if you're a fucking teabagger or you're teabagging someone else. It doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, all of y'all are fucking horrifying and horrific and gross. And Jesus Christ, we got Matt Gaetz, the guy who has been accused of trafficking minors, of drugging minors, of raping minors. The guy whose partner in crime has been arrested and put in jail, who wrote a testimony that includes in vivid detail about what the two of them had been doing. Someone who has a long string of evidence against him, so much so that there has been a probe into his activity. However, he just dropped out, making that probe, unfortunately, not something that is immediately going to be released. Could be leaked. If anyone is looking to leak it, who has the information, I know a very good guy to do that with, Ken Klippenstein. You can find his information online. He's got a Substack. He's got a lot of emails to reach him. If you ever want to leak something and you want your sources protected, I can highly recommend
clean up your room.
Ken Klippenstein. I would say go out and fucking go leak to Ken Klippenstein. But I'm also kind of tired of being gaslit on Matt Gaetz. I was gaslit by Cenk on live on the Power Panel one time, where I was like, yeah, there's a lot of credible evidence that this man is full-on, pedophile, sexual abuser, human trafficker. And then he was like, well, to be fair, the probe didn't find any criminal allegations. He has not been charged with anything. We have to be fair and or balanced about this. Not just because we hate the guy doesn't mean that we can actually go forward with that. And that, is technically true. He's not been arrested. He's not been charged. But there is an overwhelming. I highly recommend the articles that show in detail how lawyers were baffled by this. How legal experts were like, this paper trail is very incriminating. Like everything from the Venmo payments to the text messages to the confirmation that, again, the same individuals who had been alleging that they had been abused, sexually trafficked, all that kind of stuff. There was direct payments from his accomplice to him. There are transactional statements that show this. There's the direct witness testimony of his collaborators. There's an unbelievable amount of evidence towards this man, but I guess there is towards Donald Trump as well. So there seems to be a kind of a pattern with, rich, white Republican men getting away with this kind of shit. Notable new names joined the chorus of calls for someone inside the House Ethics Committee to release the highly damaging report, and that's a quote from the people who had been working on it, about its probe into Matt Gaetz, who is now Donald Trump's Attorney General in waiting. John Clute, a lawyer for the woman who accused Gaetz of having an inappropriate relationship with her as a high schooler, called on lawmakers to immediately release their findings about Gaetz. Mr. Gaetz' likely nomination as Attorney General is perverse development in a truly dark series of events, Clune said in a statement. We would support the House Ethics Committee immediately releasing their report. She was a high school student, and there were witnesses. Complicating matters for the committee is that Gaetz, 42, has already resigned from Congress after Trump appointed him to be his Attorney General. That means Gaetz is no longer a congressman, nullifying any jurisdiction they had held over him. Right before the probe was about to come out, by the way, I ask you this, does an innocent man flee? This whole thing is so weird, and then it's one of those stories where I'm like, maybe this is just one of those things that only Republicans can get away with this because they don't care You know, they don't care about their own. They don't care. They constantly project. They're always talking about how LGBTQ plus people are groomers. LGBTQ plus people are pedophiles. They're abusing children. They're hunting children. And it's like, hey, another police officer, another fucking Catholic bishop, another Republican lawmaker, another governor, another police officer, another statesman, another Republican, blah, 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 big MAGA figure, another public figure, another fucking media personality. And they're all just fucking, I don't know. There's no evidence. He hasn't been charged with anything. So yeah, this story has been weird since the day it fucking basically broke. And he went on Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson was even kind of dumbfounded at the way he was talking and acting and trying to implicate Tucker Carlson live on Fox. That was really weird. You know, like, do you remember the way he was phrasing his sentences? Like, yes, Tucker, you will recall, of course, that time that I had attended a dinner with you and your wife in a time in December of 2011, where I attended that meeting with an individual who may have been mentioned in the case providing. And you at the time thought nothing was wrong. And Tucker's like, I think you're referring to when I had dinner with you and my wife, and I'm not sure why you're invoking that. But anyways, I was like, this is so strange to see. This is certainly not the activity or behavior of an innocent man, you know? And I'm not a body language expert. I don't know shit about shit. Fair enough. I got ADHD, and that riddles my mind in the way that I can ascertain people's honesty and stuff like that. I share too much. But it looked weird. Something was strange. Something was fucked up there, you know? That doesn't stop Democrats from calling for the report's release, however, and insiders have suggested they may soon get their wish. The Miami Herald Star journalist Julie K. Brown, who revealed the scale of the Jeffrey Epstein sex abuse scandal in 2018, leading to his arrest a year later, reported Thursday that sources confirm Gaetz' report is, quote, highly damaging and could be leaked today. The details of the report remain unknown. Gaetz, however, has been marred in scandal since the sex trafficking investigation into him was opened by the Department of Justice in 2021. The feds ultimately decided not to charge Gaetz, and his buddy Joel Greenberg pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 11 years behind bars. The Daily Beast reported in 2021 on a confession letter that was penned by Greenberg, in which he claimed that Gaetz had paid him to arrange sex with several women and a 17-year-old girl. So let's be totally clear, because them's the facts, all right? The collaborator with Matt Gaetz wrote a letter confessing to the whole thing, got charged, got arrested, and went to jail, is serving 11 years for all the fucked up shit that they were doing, and implicated Gaetz in his confession letter, saying that, yes, me and Gaetz were doing human trafficking. We were drugging and sexually assaulting young girls. In this case, you can track in the Venmo payments that apparently were going back and forth between Greenberg and Gaetz for the exact amounts around the same time that the witnesses have been testifying that they had been human trafficked. There's a lot of evidence in this one, and one of those things where, like, yeah, I mean, sure, you could say that the person in charge of this was a coward for not fully looking into it, and then the Health Ethics Committee, who did a probe, if they don't release this, then that is also cowardly. They're not supposed to because of the fact that he dropped out, but leak that shit. Leak that shit. You know, go make sure that it's being handed off to someone who's going to protect their sources. Ken Klippenstein. Get it into the hands of Ken Klippenstein or someone else who you think will protect the sources. But let's get this ethics probe out, you know? More recently, court documents emerged in September that allege Gaetz was at a party in 2017 with a naked high school junior who was there to, quote, engage in sexual activities while drugs like cocaine and ecstasy were present. Gaetz has remained steadfast in his denial of any wrongdoing and has claimed that the feds probe into him as part of an extortion plot. Now, here's the shitty thing. Even if this stuff comes out, most likely all these people won't face a day in jail, because Donald Trump is about to become the president of the United States. So, yeah, he will be pardoning everybody who is loyal to him, including Matt Gaetz. So, yes, he's probably not going to face any jail for, again, allegedly drugging, raping children and human trafficking them. That's just a fucked up reality we have to reckon with. But the world should know, and it should be in the public interest for the simple reason of this is the last guardrail, everyone. Okay? They control all three branches of government. And if you include the Supreme Court, 4. The Republicans have won monopoly. They got it all. This is monopoly. They got every single fucking branch of government. Fair enough, there's going to be nothing but infighting now. There's going to be very razor-thin margins in the House. There's razor-thin margins in the Senate. They don't have the supermajority, but I don't think they're going to care about the parliamentarian because they don't play by the rules. George Bush certainly didn't, so I'd look out for that as well. And in terms of the Supreme Court, well, yeah, let's just hope that, Sotomayor doesn't fall ill or anything in the next couple of years, because that delicate imbalance that exists right now could become even more extreme until there's nothing but a far-right Supreme Court, and it doesn't seem like the Democrats are ever going to do anything about that. Joe Biden right now, you've got a couple months to start doing emergency measures. He's not. He's more concerned about making sure that Israel has more money. That's what he said. He did that press conference the other day, saying that his alliances and support of Israel are steadfast, and that is going to be, I guess, his primary concern. Not so much the American people, more just that Israel can continue to do its war crimes and atrocities. So don't look towards Joe. Genocide Joe, he's got only a little bit of time left, and he's going to spend that time making sure that Israel has more money to commit war crimes. So in the meantime, they have monopoly. So that means that, again, one of the last guardrails is this shit, is the fact that deep down, these MAGA Republicans are disgusting. They're revolting. They're horrifying humans. They're very, very gross, and they're okay with being revolting and horrifying and having revolting and horrifying people among them. So if he becomes the Attorney General, that is going to be a monstrous scandal if the timing of that can coincide with the fact that, hey, here's the evidence. Hey, here's reality. Hey, this guy, Matt Gaetz, he's actually fucked. He's a child trafficker. He's a pedophile. He has drugged and raped and trafficked children. This is really fucked up. And yes, for a lot of the MAGA, that won't matter. For a lot of fucking Republicans, that won't matter. Because after all, the president of the United States, who's about to be anointed again, was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. According to Jeffrey Epstein. Don't take my word for it. Simply listen to Jeffrey Epstein, who considers Donald Trump to be his best friend, or did. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to be able to see his best friend become the president again. But that's the reality of the world, is that the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein is about to become the president. But this shit doesn't play well with everyone, doesn't play well with centrists, doesn't play well with people, even some of the older, Republicans who believe in the classic Republican Party, that of small government, of low taxation and helping out corporations and making sure that the trickle down occur, that kind of brand, as well as a lot of, not even fully Republicans, but libertarians, conservatives, that kind of stuff. There's a large percentage of the population who honestly, should there be enough information and enough noise about this once he becomes the Attorney General, would be like, holy fuck, wait, what? Okay, we gotta reassess here. This is a cabinet of rapists. Honestly. Donald Trump, President of the United States, rapist. Matt Gaetz, alleged rapist. Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency, alleged sexual harasser and an alleged sexual assaulter within his own corporation. So there's a lot of fucked up people who are coming to power with all of this kind of shit. I'm sure libertarians are fine with it. You know what? You're right. The libertarians, this is actually just kind of their thing, so maybe not the libertarians. Can't count on them. But either way, that and the infighting. I got to be honest with you, and this is just true. Matt Gaetz is not liked by a lot of Republicans. He's actually very hated. It's actually a pretty wild thing to put him this high up in the administration when he's so despised. Him and Marjorie Taylor Greene are not despised for the right reasons. In the case of Matt Gaetz, the pedophilia, the child trafficking, the drugging of children, all that kind of stuff. They're hated because of all the chaos they sow, because they did what everyone wanted AOC to do, the whole force the vote shit. Well, you look at what that did. Achieved very little to nothing, and at the same time caused all this chaos and made him despised and hated by the rest of the Republican Party, because they're like, no, we need to have a Speaker of the House. We need to have a Speaker of the House. No, I'm gonna be a disruptor. I am. Yeah. So that created a lot of hatred and animosity. He's actually quite hated amongst the Republican Party, and that's good. That's good. Because it's really sad to say this, but the last guardrails that remain are both ineptitude, which, yes, is kind of just like a classic thing, infighting, which is also a very large part of the Republican Party in MAGA. This is all what happened in the last Trump administration. And the third one being the association with Trump with some of the worst and most vile creatures known to man. The Steve Bannons, the Matt Gaetz, these individuals that he likes to have very close to him, the Roger Stones, a literal cuckold. These kind of people that get really, really close to Donald Trump, they're not beloved by the rest of MAGA. It's why you have a lot of the old guard and a lot of the rhinos who are actually just kind of revolted with the future of the Republicans. But make no mistake, these are Republicans now. This is who they are, and this is the infighting that we need to promote. Yes, we not just to be like, hey, by the way, they suck, and then walk away. No. We need to push all of this fighting directly into the furnace so it just makes a beautiful phoenix like fire, and everyone gets mad and there's chaos. The more chaos, the better. The more infighting, the better. Honestly, it sucks because it's not really a lot of government in place to do that. I don't count on the Democrats for anything. I don't think that they can be united in all things. I just saw that vote that went by in the House that just had 53 Democrats vote for giving Trump the ability to target nonprofits that he sees as offensive, I guess, aka as he sees fit to target Palestinian charities or Palestinian protests or all that kind of stuff. 53 Democrats, the diet Republican Democrats. So Democrats are not going to suddenly become this united front that is trying to fight up against fascism. They're most likely just going to become fascists themselves. That's what it's looking like these days. That they're more and more just suddenly being like, well, it turns out that we lost bad, and that's because we didn't go enough right wing. It's like, what? You did. That, by all measures, was a very, very conservative run for government, especially internationally. Hey, as a Canadian, someone watching this and observing from afar, being like, oh my God, America, no. It was very right wing, honestly. Very, very tough on immigration. Very, very tough on the border. Very, very tough on law and order. Fucking promoting the idea that she is both a gun owner and will shoot at you when it comes to her house. I mean, this was a centerpiece of that. Reaching out to Republicans, reaching out to conservatives, appealing to the center by saying that we're a Big Tent party. Hey, we got Dick Cheney, we got Liz Cheney. Hopefully we'll get George Bush pretty soon. This is a whole part of it. The Brat Summer and the hiring of all of these famous musicians doesn't change any of that. These are all, again, very right-wing things. Not talking a lot about civil rights, LGBTQ plus protection, trans people, at all. Number of trans speakers at the DNC, big old zero. That was not at the forefront of her conversation. She was asked once, what would you do about when trans people, or what would you do when it comes to, Republicans trying to enact, draconian laws or trying to take away their rights and stuff. She's like, I would follow the law. Again, these are all center to center right things. When it comes to fucking imperialism, the military-industrial complex, Palestine, the Middle East, the U.S. involvement in other countries, that was all stay the course. She was asked, will you do an arms embargo, or would you entertain even the concept of an arms embargo? No, we will not be doing an arms embargo with Israel. That is not going to happen. I'm going to do what I think my, advisors are telling me, and that is to try and not completely alienate a very large percentage of the youth vote and the population that is upset about this by saying that I'm going to humanize Palestine. So I'll do that. I'll definitely be like, yes, but the suffering of Palestinians has to end, and that's enough, right? I'm speaking. And we're good. All right, cool. Well, we got Doja Cat, we got Eminem. Just you wait. This is going to be a fucking awesome house concert. Beyonce speaking later, then Oprah. Yes, that is costing money, by the way. Those were paid engagements, in some cases very expensive paid engagements, and every single person who's donating to change the world and have the brat revolution, you know that you're also paying to hire a lot of those people. Now they're ridiculously in debt, and so they're still asking for money from their donors, being like, hey, by the way, could you help us recoup some of this cash? Because we may have hired one too many Oprahs, one too many Beyoncés. Eminem was actually a little bit more expensive than we thought he would be. He's quite old now. We didn't know that Slim Shady was still commanding a high price. Turns out he can still spit, so people are still paying lots of money. $500,000 a day for the Sphere, that Vegas Sphere, to do the $500,000. That's wild. Every day. I don't know how many votes it converted. Sure did look cool though. Always does. You see it from a distance. I've never seen it in person. Apparently up close, it's actually really gross and terrible, because it's just, at the end of the day, the pixels are kind of hard to see. But when you look from it from afar, it does look very impressive. I mean, I've never seen something like that at that scale. Anyway, but very expensive. Yeah, Eminem got one of the cheapest deals, under $2 million. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad, under $2 million for Eminem. A man who described himself as a close friend of Matt Gaetz, the controversial right-wing firebrand who's Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General, asked the court to expunge legal records containing details of a drug-fueled sex party with an underage girl in which Gaetz was allegedly in attendance. The friend, Chris Dorworth, a lobbyist and former member of the Florida House who allegedly hosted the party, has filed 2 motions requesting the records, which include witness statements from people at the party, not be released to the public, and further, that they be destroyed, Rolling Stone reported based on court filings. Quote, the public interest is not served in any way by releasing confidential information upon which the courts have never relied to make any decision in this case, Dorthworth's attorneys wrote in an October 16th filing per Rolling Stone, adding their client intends to request the exhibits be stricken from judicial records entirely. The decision of whether to release the records belonging to a federal court, but Gaetz, if confirmed as Attorney General, would have substantial sway over the federal judiciary. The records in question stem in part from the defamation suit Dorthworth filed against Joel Greenberg, another friend of Gaetz who is now serving 11 years in prison for sex trafficking convictions. Dorthworth has sued Greenberg for linking him to criminal activity at the party of the underage victim, but later dropped the suit. In 2021, the Daily Beast reported that Greenberg confessed in a letter that Gaetz had paid him to arrange sexual encounters with women, including an underage girl. Hours after Trump on Wednesday announced his intent to nominate Gaetz, the Florida representative resigned positions in Congress, and as some noted, mere days before the Health Ethics Committee was set to vote on whether to release a report with the conclusions of its probe into Gaetz over allegations of sexual misconduct and drug use. Because the Ethics Committee has jurisdiction over the House members, the probe has effectively ended, and report is said to be, quote, highly damaging to Gaetz, will not be released. The announcements of Gaetz' prospective nomination as Attorney General sent shockwaves around the political world, with representatives from both sides of the aisle expressing astonishment and dismay. The allegation of Gaetz' attendance at the sex party, which broke in September, is just one of numerous scandals the staunch Trump backer has faced, including allegations that he showed naked photos of women he was sleeping with to aides and lawmakers on the House floor. Gaetz has denied all wrongdoing. Now, obviously, I can't recommend anyone do anything illegal, obviously. That's not what I'm here to do. But boy, would it be awesome if this got leaked in any way, shape, or form. And I really hope it does, so that it is, by the way, in the public interest, so that they can know the breadth of depravity of these fucks. Because, yeah, honestly, Republicans don't play by the rules. Conservatives in Canada don't play by the rules. They cheat. They cheat and they cheat, and if you try to continue to play a game with them where when they go low, we go high, and all this kind of shit, well, look at where America is at now. Every branch of government is controlled now by the far right, by Republicans, by Christian nationalists. Have you seen the tattoos of the upcoming Secretary of Defense who refuses to wash his hands and likes to throw axes at fucking workers? That dude? Go look them up. They're quite horrifying. These are Christian nationalists who now control the country. Donald Trump has said that he is going to implement measures to make prayer mandatory in schools. Donald Trump has said that he's going to try and punish schools that had a quota that they were fulfilling to have minorities enter their universities and institutions, and that he's essentially going to be doing a form of white reparations. This is who's in power. They're fucking winning in the right. They are very successful at what they're doing. They are convincing and fooling a lot of people to be mad at things that are not concerning them. I'm not telling this to doomer you. I'm telling this for everyone to get active. You know what we just witnessed in New Zealand? Shit like that. Get disruptive and organize. Organize, organize. I mean this. If you haven't already, join your local DSA chapter. If you haven't already, unionize in your fucking workplace. Get people aware of it. Start talking to coworkers. Look up guides and look up, what to do. I've got a guide here on unionization that if you type exclamation point in Twitch chat, what to do, it'll have a list of links, and I'll copy this so I can put it into the YouTube one for people who haven't unionized before. There's a link, a list of links for unionization, doing that shit. But hey, guess what? You can win locally, all right? Even though the United States and their government, again, all three branches and the Supreme Court are right-wing, you can make your life better. And even though it's scary that they have all this power, a lot of what the federal government does involves foreign policy. A lot of what the federal government does involves, not the cop or police budget in your local area, not the community budget for how much money you spend on schools, on libraries. They need federal funding for those, yes, but locally you can do a lot of change. And I've said this before, there are examples where they've had massive victories because they organized, and now is the time. You can let the liberals fall all over each other right now. You can let the liberals complain that they aren't right-wing enough in the interim, but if you are organizing locally, and I'm not just trying to talk out of my ass, I'm trying to do that here in Vancouver, Canada right now. I've been reached out to, and I'm working with a handful of other political parties. My problem in Vancouver is that we have too many leftist parties. We literally have 7 or 8 leftist parties, so no one ever knows which one is the true left. It's there's Vision, there's Greens, there's Cope, there's all these other ones. So we're banding together. We're going to be organizing, and we're going to unite the houses. We're going to drop the one that I had the closest ties to, vote socialist, and we're going to band together with the socialist aligned party, and then we're going to try and organize to have a 3-3-3 kind of situation in which we get 3 council members from each of the 3 main leftist parties who unite together, a uniting of the houses, to evict the right-wing cop party that is in power, the ABC. And then effectively, if we can do this strategy and go forward, we can start building social housing programs. We can start building, modular housing cities. We have 4,000 homeless people in my city. I want to make it a model for the rest of the world. And if we can do it here, you can do it in San Francisco. You can do it in LA. You can do it in Portland. You can do it in Toronto. You can do it all across the world, because other parts of the world do this already. A lot of the parts, again, Scandinavian countries already are really good at housing first initiatives, shit like that. And yes, get sassy. Get sassy, but not only organize, because it's a great time to do so, because everyone's looking at the 2 options, socialism, barbarism, fascism, but also it's fun, I felt so depressed after so many bad shit events that are taking place. Seeing what happened in the parliament in New Zealand inspires me. Seeing a whole bunch of people in my community who are also very mad about everything, hate my local mayor, Ken Sim, who turned our city council into a fucking private gym. There's a lot of people who are mad and scared and don't know what to do. And it feels really good to organize and work with them. It's not just like, we're doing this because we have to, because the situation calls for it. It's also like, it makes you feel better, safer, that a better hope is possible, that we can actually work together to do this shit, that you can turn your city into a greener city, that we can work towards having more climate initiatives, that we can house the homeless, that we can stop giving all of these tax breaks to real estate developers, corporations, all these people who have all the power. We have the numbers. That's a huge advantage. We got massive ass numbers. Workers versus, again, the fucking the elites they claim to hate. They're running the show now. The swamp and the elites, oh man, that's all the Republican Party. The huge swamp, massive swamp going down. Build tiny homes for Indigenous women and kids and disabilities. Exactly. It is a small start, but it's an important one. And have fun. Honestly, you don't have to organize. Go have fun. Go enjoy yourselves. If you're having fun watching me, I'm glad. But also go dance. Go write some poetry. Go run around in the forest. Go sing. Go play some music and have your friends dance with you. Go to a rave. If you can't do any of that, watch a show that you love. Go play a video game that you've wanted to start for a long time. Play an old one. Emulate one so you don't have to worry about buying an $80 video game, and just enjoy some of the classics. I highly recommend getting through the Super Nintendo collection if you haven't already done so. Chrono Trigger, awesome game. You should probably play it. Secret of Mana, amazing game. You should probably go play it. Really, really fun games. Great adventures, and then they can also inspire you. That kind of stuff. Final Fantasy VII, the original, the classic. Hey, it's got a good message. Let's all defeat Shinra. I've been so locked into politics last week. I gotta play a video game. Do it. It's what I have to do sometimes, not only because I love video games, but because it actually gets me offline, and because of my ADHD rattled brain, I can actually just like hyper focus on something for a while that I'm gonna really enjoy. So I would recommend that too. Pet Bolt, thank you so much. Hey, Land's proud of these people, and it's exciting to see. We all need to band together to start doing more to protest on the daily. We can make a big difference, and we can ultimately win about protecting the environment. Look into peat bogs in Canada. I will do that. Let me write that down. Bugs, Canada. I had someone else say that there is a lot of really cool technological developments that are happening. A lot of them in China too as well, including spreading certain kinds of bacteria in the ocean to promote a lot of new growth of algae and other underwater, specifically adapting to the new temperatures of the ocean. The ocean's warming up and it's killing a lot of life. That is true, but they're trying to develop new, mass rapid growing bacteria that can actually be massive carbon captures that can grow very rapidly in the warmer conditions and stuff like that. Awesome stuff. I love cold fusion. It's a ways away, so unfortunately we're not going to have like a cold fusion future that can save us all, but still stuff that is very inspiring.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincel, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here